Hello, my name is Zach Gibbs, and I am a content developer within education services inside Juniper Networks. And today we will be going through the Apstra Design Creating Tags Learning Byte. All right, so here is our topology. In our topology, we have an IP fabric, which consists of two spines, spine 1 and spine 2, and 4 leaves, leaf 1, leaf 2, leaf 3, and border leaf 1. And then you can see here that connected to the leaves are 4 servers. We have server 1 that connects to leaf 1 and leaf 2, and server 2 that connects to leaf 1, server 3 that connects to leaf 2, and server 4 that connects to leaf 3. And then we have the border leaf up top, which connects to the external router. And the goal of this learning byte is to create tags so that we can logically tag the links between the leaves and the devices they're connected to, the end devices, that is. And you can see up in the left, we have some tags specified. We have the border leaf link that is in that teal blue color. And then you have server 1 link at the bottom that is for both of those interfaces. And then we have the server 2 link that connects to leaf 1. And then we have the server 3 link, which is in green, that connects to leaf 2. And the server 4 link that is connected to leaf 3 that is in purple. And so one thing to keep in mind here, this learning byte is focusing on simply creating the tags. We're not going to be applying the tags in this learning byte. That will be a future learning byte, so please keep a lookout for that. But the whole idea here is to make sure we create the tags, and then those tags will be able to be used in the future. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump to the Apstra web interface and get this going. All right, so here is the Apstra web interface. And to create tags, we need to go to the sidebar on the left and select the design option. And in here we have logical devices, interface maps, rack types, templates, configlets, property sets, TCP, UDP ports, and tags. So there's a lot you can do in the design workspace. But with this learning byte, we're focusing on creating tags. So let's select tags. And here we see some default tags that Apstra creates by default. You don't have to create these. We have a bare metal, firewall, hypervisor, and router. And then you can see the descriptions here. We have bare metal servers for the description. That makes sense. L2 and L3 firewalls. That makes sense. Hypervisor compute nodes. That's great too. External routers, virtual routers, etc. for router. That makes sense. And the thing with this is a lot of times I'm kind of lazy when it comes to putting descriptions in. But it's actually really important with tags because as you use tags, those descriptions will help remind you what the tags are actually for. I mean, with these, hypervisor, firewall, and whatnot, probably have a fairly good idea. But if you're in a production environment, those descriptions are going to be very, very helpful. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and create some tags. So let's click Create Tag. And we'll first have to name it. We'll say our first one is border leaf 1 link. And then the description, what is this doing? Recall that the border leaf is connecting to the external router. So we'll put border leaf 1 interface connects to external router. And then as with creating other things in Apstra, other objects, we have the create another option. And that's great because we do want to create more than one tag. Now keep in mind that we'll be able to clone a tag, so I'm going to show that as well, but for right now we're just going to focus on creating a tag and creating another tag, that is. So let's click the create button, and after we do that we can see that it's created successfully and we're presented with the create tag window again, and so we can create a new tag, and here we want to create the server 1 link tag. And recall that server 1, it connects into leaf 1 and leaf 2. Now not that it matters for this learning byte, but that'll be an ESI lag. So we probably want to say something about that in the description. So here we can put server 1 interfaces. That will be in an ESI lag that connects to leaf 1. I could spell, there we go, leaf 1 and leaf 2. And we select create another and click create. And then we need to create the server 2 underscore link tag. And we call that server 2 connects into leaf 1. So we'll say server 2 interface connects to leaf 1. And that's great. Let's click create another and click create. Then we'll say server 3 link and server 3 interface that connects to leaf 2. And then I'm not going to select create another, even though we do have one more to create, because I want to show you how to clone a tag as well. And so let's click create. And you can see our list has grown here. We have more tags. And so at this point, we can select server 3. And we do have a few different options. We can edit it, we can clone it, or we can delete it. So let's clone this tag. And you can see here the clone tag window pops up. And here we have basically an exact duplicate, except they put copy on the end. So we could just clone it like this, but of course we want to change the name to server 4. And then we want to get rid of copy, no need for that. And then we want to say server 4 interface connects to, actually I just did 3 again. Let's change that to 4. Connects to leaf, what does it connect to? Leaf 3. So let's click clone. And when you do that, it drops you into the details of the tag. And there's not a lot of details to see here. You just have the name and the description. And here you can edit, clone, or delete the tag as well. And so let's go back to the tags workspace. And notice that in the details section, you pretty much get the same thing that's in the summary section here. So there's not going to be a lot of extra details, or any extra details for that matter, go into the details section. But it is there if you click on one of the individual tags. And so with that, one thing that we need to be aware of is, are we going to search for individual tags? Say you have 100, 200, or however many tags created, not just a few like what we have here. And so you're going to want to run some queries, right? So we do have the query option up here where we can do some searches based on the name. So here we have the defaults, bare metal, firewall, hypervisor, router. Say like, we don't really care about those, but we want to keep them around. We might use them, but we want to see which tags that have been created that have the word link in it, because we know that's the naming convention we're using. So we can specify link, click apply, and now we're only seeing the tags that we created earlier because they have the word link in it. And then we can clear that search and everything's back the way it was. And then the final thing is, okay, what happens when we delete a tag? Say we created a bunch of tags, we're like, we don't like those. We don't even want to edit them to change the name. Just simply click the delete button for the tag. And you have to do this for each tag. You can't highlight a bunch of tags and do it all at once. Maybe that's something they'll include in the future, but for right now, you have to select every tag and delete that you don't want to keep anymore. So that does bring us to the end of this Learning Byte. In this Learning Byte, we demonstrated how to create tags with Apstra. So as always, thanks for watching.
Visit the Juniper Education Services website to learn more about courses. View our full range of classroom, online, and e-learning courses. Learning paths, industry segment and technology-specific training paths. Juniper Network's certification program, the ultimate demonstration of your competence. And the training community, from forums to social media. Join the discussion.